What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. And speaking of weekend, what a weekend it was in the professional wrestling world, man. We're going to talk about AEW Revolution, which went down last night in the historic Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. Um, and there was so much action to get to, and this pay per view was centered around the one and only Sting and his final match in his illustrious almost 40-year career. Uh, there, however, there were plenty of other action-packed moments and things to remember from the show, and we're just gonna get right into it, man. So to begin, there was the 0 hour, which was the pre-show, and the first match on the pre-show was a huge 12-man tag team match. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang, which consists of Jay White, the Guns, Colton and Austin, and the acclaimed, along Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, and Daddy Ass, formerly known as Billy Gunn, taking on the other 8-man team of Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh, and Willie Mack, which was a surprise to see. Willie Mack, hell of a wrestler, big, big, big guy. About 300 pounds. Shouldn't be able to do what he does for a guy at his size, but I love watching him work. And this was a fun opener. Usually the Acclaim rap on their way to the ring. Max Caster specifically, but Max Caster kind of botched his opening rap, and because hey, listen, it's pay per view, it's a big night, a lot of nerves, but anyway, the matchup went well, and the Bang Bang Scissor Gang ended up picking up the win over Jeff Jarrett and company. Next up, the ladies were in action on the 0 hour as Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale took on Julia Hart and Sky Blue, the TBS champion Julia Hart and Sky Blue, I should say. So again, another fun tag team matchup. Ladies are really putting it down. Ladies wrestling has come a long way. Women's wrestling, I should say, has come a long way, and it's great to see them being well represented. Just not just in AEW, but all over professional wrestling. Well deserved. Uh, um, so so Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale ended up picking up the win over TBS champ Julia Hart in Sky Blue, and that was the pre-show. And to kick off the pay-per-view itself, first up, the TNT Championship was on the line as the patriarch Christian Cage defended against Daniel Garcia. Uh, Star on the Rise Man was a part of the Jericho Appreciation Society, and now since that stable has disbanded, he's kind of stepped out on his own and is forging his own path in AEW. And hell of a technical wrestler. This was a hell of an opener. The crowd was very very hot for this. Christian ended up picking up the win uh, to retain his TNT Championship. Great opener, like I said. Next up, the AEW Continental Crown was on the line as Brian Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan, and Renee, one of the commentators that used to work in WWE while Brian was there. Accidentally said accidentally said Daniel Bryan when running down the match on the pre-show. That I found that kind of hilarious. But what do you call it? Yeah. So Brian Danielson was challenging for the AEW Continental Championship against title holder Eddie Kingston. And for those of you who do not watch AEW, the Continental Crown is just basically made up of three championship belts. The Ring of Honor World Championship, the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, and the AEW Continental Classic Championship. That was a tournament held earlier this year to crown the first ever winner of the AEW Continental Classic. Uh, 16 of the best wrestlers from all over the world competed, and Eddie Kingston ended up coming out on top there, hence why he's the AEW Continental Crown Champion. So yeah, it was a great matchup. You know, two very different contrasting styles. Brian Danielson, the technical beast that he is, in against Eddie Kingston, the straight up brawler, and Eddie Kingston ended up coming out on top and ultimately earning Brian Danielson's respect. So that was a great match to follow up the TNT Championship match. Next up, you had an 8-man All Star Scramble, where the winner of the match would get an AEW World Title shot, World Championship shot, at a later time. So the people in the match were the Undisputed Kingdom's Wardlow, Chris Jericho, a Powerhouse House representing the Don Callis family, Magnus representing CMLL, uh, Hook, the FTW World Champion, uh, Top Flights, which is a tag team Top Flight, uh, member Dante Martin, the Mogul Embassy, which is another stable in AEW and Ring of Honor. Brian Cage represented them, and yeah, and that was, and what do you call it? That was it. And Wardlow ended up picking up the win to earn himself a future AEW World Heavyweight Championship shot. Next up was the AEW International Championship being defended as Undisputed Kingdom. The Undisputed Kingdoms, another stable, another member of that stable, Roderick Strong, aka the Messiah of the Backbreaker, took on Orange Cassidy. Now, this is Orange Cassidy's second reign, and during his first reign, he defended that title almost every week until he lost it to John Moxley at All Out last September. And then he would eventually win it back, and he picked up right where he left off, with defending the championship almost every single week, sometimes twice a week on AEW's weekly shows. And eventually that catches up to you. And Roger Strong has been in AEW for about a year, and really picking up steam with the Undisputed Kingdom. Adam Cole, Wardlow, and the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, the Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. After a great back and forth match, Roger Strong hits the End of Heartache, which is a not just a song by Killswitch Engage, which is and one of my favorite songs, by the way, but it's also his signature move, and it's like a variation of a backbreaker. Hence why he's called the Messiah of the Backbreaker, because he has like 500 different variations of it. But anyway, no, Roger Strong ended up picking up the win and is your new AEW International Champion. So damn good for him. And next up was a tag team war, man. The Blackpool Combat Club, which is another stable in AEW, consisting of the aforementioned Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta, who's currently out of action with an injury right now. They took on the team of FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, and like I said, it was a war. These two teams showed why they are the best, why they are four of the best wrestlers in the world right now. And although Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli are primarily known as singles competitors, they really have great chemistry as a tag team. And they may make a future run at the AEW World Tag Team Championship, which we'll get to later on. But let's see. Hell of a match. And next up, the AEW Women's World Championship was being defended as former friends turned bitter enemies clashed as the virtuosa Deanna Purrazzo took on Tony Storm. Like I've said in past AEW vlogs where I've covered pay-per-views, I really love what Tony Storm is doing with her character. You know, the whole Marilyn Monroe-esque gimmick, and you know, add to the mix her biggest fan, as they call it, Mariah May, who's a great wrestler in her own right, is, you know, basically emulating Tony Storm, and she didn't. And as a pro wrestler, she likes to Mariah May, I should say, likes to cosplay, and she cosplayed as Tony Storm's old outfit before, in Tony Storm's old outfit before, you know, she switched up her character. So that Tony Storm's old character was kind of like a like a rocker, a rock type chick, and you know, really had the you know, the backwards hat with the diamonds on it, and the spikes and everything, and the jacket and the matching gear. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, after a hell of a matchup, I love watching. Let's talk about Deanna Purrazzo for a second. Love watching her work. Always have followed her career ever since Ring of Honor, and you know, she's been in Impact Wrestling, 2-time Knockouts champion over there, and now she's with AEW and looking to leave her mark on the women's division. And that was a great pickup for AEW because the women's division in AEW needs some help. But you know, these two delivered a great performance. It was a great story. You know, like I said, former friends clashing, and Tony Storm ended up picking up the win with the Storm Zero, her a variation of a pile driver. Um, Next up, probably, man, one of the best matches of the night for me. Will Ospreay taking on Konosuke Takeshita. Both members of the Don Callis family. Yet another stable in AEW. The Don Callis family consists of United Empire, which is Will Ospreay, and Aussie Open, which is Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis, and Powerhouse Hobbs, and you know, to they and Will what do you call it, and also Konosuke Takeshita as well. And these two really brought the house down. It is not only, it's probably not the match of the year. It is probably the match of the decade, man. And these two incredible athletes just brought it to each other for about 20-25 minutes, and it was a masterpiece. If you haven't checked out the replay of Revolution, I urge you to go order the replay or find it or do whatever you have to do to go watch this match, because you will not be disappointed if you are a professional wrestling fan. Anyway, Will Ospreay ended up picking up the win in his official AEW debut match. Not necessarily his debut match, but you know, his debut match went ever since getting signed to a contract. He had a few matches under the AEW banner while he was still working with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but ever since you know, he signed with AEW, and now he is a full-fledged member of the roster. And tonight was his official first match under the full-time AEW banner. And what a hell of a matchup it was, like I just said. Next up was the three-way, in the semi-main event, was the three-way match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Samoa Joe, Hangman Adam Page, and Swerve Strickland. Huge story here, especially with Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland. These guys do not like each other, and then you throw Samoa Joe. They had a classic match. their first two matches, 1-on-1 against each other, Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland, were bona fide classics. And then you throw the world champion Samoa Joe in there, who's a phenomenal wrestler in his own right, and you just get one hell of a match. And these guys brought it, man. You know, the story between Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland played out real nice, and I ended up playing in Samoa Joe's favor because Samoa Joe got the win after he was able to make a Hangman Adam Page submit via the Coquina Clutch, which is a version of a rear naked choke. Uh, Man, like I said, great matchup, and I can't wait to see where the story goes after that. And in the main event, probably the matchup that everybody came for, Sting's last match, the Icon Sting, 39 plus years in the game, and providing countless memories for myself and every other wrestler and wrestling fan around the world, man. You know, there's a saying that's associated with Sting, and it rings true for me, man. Not one person who's been in this, who's ever stepped foot in the ring, you know, there's they had not one person who's ever stepped foot in a wrestling ring hasn't been influenced by Sting, man, and that is so true. I mean, the man has transcended eras and constantly reinventing himself from his surfer gimmick, you know, in the mid '80s and early '90s to his drastic reinvention of the Crow character. Well, he said it wasn't based on the Crow, but everybody refers to it as Crow Sting. And then of course his run in TNA where he you know kind of channeled the Joker from the Dark Knight, Heath Ledger's Joker. That was a hell of a run as well. And you know, his career in WWE, you know, didn't quite go the way he envisioned it going, but you know, it was unfortunate. You know, he took a buckle bomb from Seth Rollins, and you know that kind of you know ended his career in WWE on short notice. And then you know, for him to take a few years off and then have AEW come along and then have this magical 3-year run in AEW, where he's undefeated, and you know, and having a tag team partner like Darby Allin, which that young man is a risk taker, and you know, it's pure entertainment. And tonight was Sting's final match, and it did not disappoint. They defeated the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, FKA Matt and Nick Jackson, to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And lots of crazy things in this match, man. You know, chairs, glass panes. I mean, Darby Allin took a fall, you know, from a ladder through two panes of glass and on set up on two steel chairs. That was absolutely insane. Sting took a table bump, a fall off the stage via a suplex. It was just nuts, man. Sting pulled out all the stops, and he did say that he was going to go out with a bang if he did go out, and he did. Not to mention Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair were there for his last match, as well as some of his other opponents, Nikita Koloff, just a whole slew of wrestlers came to pay tribute to the Icon Sting, man. And he did not disappoint, like I said. And it'll be, and I'm sure having his sons out there dressing as previous eras of him had to be pretty cool. And one of his sons, I don't know his name, but one of his sons has a hell of a vertical leap, man. They were getting up there on the Stinger splashes, and that was a hell of a thing to see. Maybe Sting's legacy will continue through his sons. Who knows? But man, what a way to go out! And he came out to And Sting entered the arena to Metallica's Seek and Destroy, which is trademark for him when he's having a big match. And man, I have never been so so excited and so emotional at the same time as a fan. To be able to witness Sting's final match and relive and live the magical run that he had in AEW, man. The only thing I can say to end this one is Sting, thanks for the memories. You gave us almost 40 years of Showtime, and last night you proved that it was Showtime one more time. Thank you for the memories, Stinger. That's all I'm going to say. And that is going to do it for this show, for this episode of the Classic Chronicles. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.